Daytona is always such a unique race, a unique track that I feel it's actually worth going over the track before the race this week. I normally don't do this, but I feel like this is a race that deserves it. So there's some of you that have commented before on this channel that you're pretty new to this sport, which I think is awesome. So you may not know what Daytona is. Most of you definitely do. But for those that don't, the Daytona Supercross is pretty much the perfect combination of motocross and supercross. What I mean by that, if you don't know what the difference is, motocross is the outdoor series. It's on big, huge tracks where there's not a lot of jumps like this. It's a lot more open, fast, that kind of thing. Supercross is in the stadiums. It's tighter, bunch of jumps. Daytona is like a combination of the two. The Daytona Supercross is held at the Daytona NASCAR track, so it's much bigger than a normal Supercross is. It still has a Supercross style layout most of the time, but since the dirt is so soft and kind of sandy that it develops so much different than any other Supercross track, and that's why, in my mind, it's like a perfect mixture of the two, which is awesome because we get this race once a year, and there's really no other race like it. It can be hit or miss. Ricky Carmichael always designs the track, and some years it's good, some years, not so much. One of my favorite years is actually 2013. I really like it when the track has unique sections that you can pretty much only get at Daytona. For example, in 2013, this first section it reminds me a lot of straight rhythm actually, where it's just 3 kind of smaller doubles in a row, and these guys are just scrubbing the crap out of the doubles, which is always fun to watch. So here, I'll show you what I'm talking about. It's literally just 3 small doubles. These guys can obviously jump probably twice as far as those doubles are. And they just scrub the crap out of them. You don't see that in Supercross. I think that was cool. I liked that. And then also on this same track, literally like one section later, there was a really cool section where they go across the start, and then it's like a double again, but more rollers. But they drop into it, and it's super soft, so it's super ruddy. And Barsha actually, back when he was on a Honda, was doing something really cool that nobody else was doing, where he was actually able to triple the first section. Looked super sketchy, super gnarly, and just really cool. So yeah, they go across the start, and then it drops down. Most of them are going double, Barsha triple single. Super fast. Super weird section where you drop in to the jumps. I thought it was cool. And then literally a section later, I got to go to a different lap because for some reason this YouTube video freezes. Oh, I guess we're on Millsaps now. Oh, okay, we're going back to Villepota. Is this one going to work? All right, we're on Barsha this time. So this, they drop down into the wall, which pretty much if there's a wall on Daytona, they always do that. They always drop down first. Kind of slows them down before they hit the wall. But in this one, they hit the wall, and then there's kind of like a landing on the other side of it. Then there's a tiny little looking step on, step off that looked like it just degraded to pretty much they're just rolling over the top of it almost. And then there's 3 singles that slowly get taller, and then like a small one afterwards. And I'm guessing maybe they thought they were going to like double it or something, but instead they're just seat bouncing the crap out of it and tripling it. And it's a super weird looking section, but I think it's really cool. So they hit the wall. Oh, this one freezes too. Kennard, Roczen, you gonna do it for me? Okay, so they drop down, they hit the wall, they jump over, they land. Super weird step on, step off thing, and then just seat bounce the crap out of the triple. And then it's like a tiny little roller into these whoops. These sections are so cool because they're so weird. So before we go into this track for this year, 2021, now you kind of understand where I'm coming from. I like super weird sections that are not normally on any other track other than what you can get on Daytona. With that, let's go to this year's track. So first things first, looking at this track right now, I'm sure you guys have already seen this. There's like 1.5 right-handers. I say 1.5. This is obviously a full one right here. But this is like barely a right. Other than that, the rest of the track his left-handers, which I guess is a good thing because you get your rear brake, and it's going to make passing more aggressive, I guess, because since you have that rear brake, you can really push it in there trying to pass somebody into a corner. But yeah, it's kind of weird, kind of cool. Their left groin is probably going to get blown out because they're going to have to hold their left leg out in every single corner. Okay, but other than that, looks decent. But let's go section by section, shall we? Okay, so first off, we got to start. It's a left-hander into another left-hander, which is always good because, like I said before, you get your rear brake, so first turn carnage shouldn't be as much because everybody's able to control their bike better because they have their rear brake. In a right-handed corner in a first turn, everybody's trying to figure out, oh, do I put my right leg out or do I keep it on the brake pedal so I have some more control, even though it's harder to turn like that. But with a left-hander, you don't have that problem. So most of the time, I'm not saying every time, but most of the time, first turn crashes are not as prevalent in a left-hander. So we got 2 left-handers in a row. That's normally a good thing. First off, we got these 4 little rollers. I'm sure they're just going to be doubling it, especially after the start. But going into it, after they hit the finish line, they're going to have some speed, so they might go triple single. They might even quad, kind of like that weird little thing that made Alex Martin crash at Orlando 2, where it's like those 4 little rollers when they were quadding it. Who knows how this is going to be made, but it could be like that. Could be interesting. Could be sketchy, like with Alex Martin, but you never know. Okay, and then we got an S-turn. An S-turn left into an S-turn right. So Daytona pretty much always has a section like this, at least somewhere on the track, and it can make for some good passing because with an S-turn, if you are going to the inside on the left-hander trying to defend the inside, then you're going to be on the outside of the next corner. And so if somebody else rails the left-hander on the outside, they're going to have the inside in the next corner, which will make their passing opportunity better. So an S-turn always ends up being pretty interesting, ends up being a pretty good passing opportunity. Normally just 2 lines. We'll see how this one pans out. A lot of times they make these S-corners in sand, which makes things pretty interesting because the sand that they use is normally super deep and super gnarly, and it makes things weird. But S-corner, every Daytona track has one. Not anything new. Then this next section, there's always something kind of like this at Daytona. It seems like right after the S turns 2, where it's like some kind of little jump, little section into a triple. With this one, it's like a camelback, however you want to call this thing. It's going to be pretty important to get over that cleanly so you can get over the triple fast, especially on the 250s, because if you mess that up and you end up having to preload or seat bounce the triple, the dude behind you, if he gets it clean and he's able to scrub the triple or at least just do the triple normal, he's going to have a lot more speed. He's going to be able to pass pretty easy. So this little jump, however they do it, wheel tap, triple, single, double, double, single, however it ends up playing out, you got to do it good or else you might get passed because the dude behind you did it good and he has a lot more speed going into the triple than you do. And then you got your triple and then 3 little rollers, which is depending on how they build them, they could just plow right through them. You can get super gnarly braking bumps or they might jump them. Who knows? And then you got the same left-hander that's at every Daytona track in this whatever part of north, south, east, west part of the track this is. This corner is literally always there. But after this is this weird thing. Supposedly made out of sand according to this track layout, which if it is, this is going to be super gnarly. The arrow has them going double-double or double-triple, however you want to call that. If it is made out of sand, it's probably going to be impossible to triple up on top, but if it's not, then the 450 guys are going to be tripling up on top. It's going to be super fast. 250 guys, maybe just the top guys tripling on top. We'll see. But if it is made out of sand, who knows how this section's going to play out. It's going to be weird. And then this, I am super confused about. So they dug this down like other sections normally do. Like I said, before the wall, they normally dig down. But they're digging down before the whoop section, which I don't really understand. I don't understand that. That's going to make it very, very hard to get a good rhythm going into the whoops. I don't know. I don't really understand this. The top guys are not going to have a problem with it because they're just way too good at whoops, but some privateer dudes, especially in the 250 class, this is going to make them wad because it's going to be so easy to miss your front wheel on one of the whoops, and it's just going to be carnage. I don't really understand this section, but maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe it'll end up being all right. I don't know, but that is weird. And then they got a single after the whoops. There's a big gap, it looks like, between the whoops and the single, which I always personally like because if there's a jump or a berm or something right after the whoops, it just causes more problems with injuries, in my opinion, because there's always a higher chance of you crashing at the end of the whoops than there is at the beginning. And if you're endoing coming out of the whoops and then you end up endoing into the face of a jump or a berm or something, that causes more injuries, kind of like what we saw Jet Lawrence do last year. I don't normally like stuff right after the whoops. I like a little bit of a gap like this one, so that's good. And then they go over this single that guys are going to be scrubbing, I'm sure, like crazy. Looks like it's a tunnel jump so that people can get into the infield easier. And then right after that, you cross the start, drop down, hit the wall. So like I said, they normally dig out before the wall to slow guys down, because if they didn't do that and they just had a straight shot into that wall, dudes would be going so insanely fast into it and it would be very dangerous. So what they do is they dig out a little bit of a hole, I guess you could say, before the wall, causes guys to have to slow down way before they get to the wall because they're going to be dropping off. And then normally they put like a little single or something in front of the wall. We'll see how they actually end up building it. But this kind of a section ends up being pretty cool because there's a lot of braking bumps, obviously, before you get down into the hole. And guys can use the braking bumps to kind of preload and jump down into the hole instead of just dropping down. And it can be super fast and super cool. So yeah, we'll see how this section turns out. So they drop down, they hit the wall, and then they drop down again into a hole, and then it's a weird section, which is cool because we have no idea how this is going to pan out, and if this is how they actually build it, yeah, I don't know. We're going to be seeing guys, I wonder, so they got the hole, and then it raises up a little bit, flattens, and then there's a jump. So the arrow's showing guys jumping and doubling over the single from the hole like this. So jumping over that and then hitting the single. And I wonder if somebody's going to be able to wheelie up on top of that little flat part and then double. If they are, that's super gnarly. Probably won't be able to, but that would be pretty sick if somebody's able to do that. So watch out for that. Wheelie up on top and then double. I doubt it, but maybe. That'd be sick. And then we got the first ever over-under on a Daytona track. This thing is the reason why there's pretty much only left-handers on the whole track, because if they didn't have this, you wouldn't be able to do that. Interested to see how this turns out, because the two 90-degree lefts, which nobody's going to pass on because nobody passes in 90-degree lefts, but right afterwards is a super, super long sand section, and it's got rollers. And like I said earlier, the sand they use is ridiculous. It's so deep, it's so fine, it causes a lot of problems, and it gets super crazy, super gnarly ruts through it. So this whole section could either help or hurt a lot of guys, because just look at how long of a sand section that is. That is a humongous sand section. Don't know how that's going to pan out, but I'm guessing it's going to cause a lot of passes, a lot of problems for some dudes, and other dudes, they're going to be insanely fast through it. That's cool. I like that. And then the over-under jump, which is always sketchy because the landing is like this and it's super steep, but whatever, we won't talk about it. Then this section is super weird. So it's an options section, and if this is how they build it without putting tough blocks down the middle of the jumping part, everybody's going to be going to the left and jumping to the right, because why wouldn't they? It's the smallest jump, because I guess maybe you'll be able to triple those on each side, but if you're not and you have to go double single or single double, whatever, everybody's going to be hitting that left side first and jumping to the right so that they can triple. And even if you are able to triple on each side, you're going to want to do that anyways, because it gives you the inside for the next corner, and that's going to be way faster. So this is going to end up probably being one line. Yeah, the arrow's showing double single, but if they don't put tough blocks down the middle of those, then like I said, everybody's going to be jumping from here to here and then taking this right-hand line. So I'm not quite sure what the thought process was behind that, but I guess we'll find out. And then you got hay bales, tough blocks, whatever here, inside, outside, and then this thing is super weird also. I think 2019, they built jumps like that, but they didn't build them out of sand like this is showing. And when they didn't build them out of sand, they were able to quad this, but there is 5 jumps here. So I don't know if they built it like it's showing, where the right side is almost like there's nothing there, then everybody's going to take the right side so that they can miss that first one. Okay, what I'm talking about is right here. I keep forgetting that I have a mouse. So if they go to the right side and they're able to get to the very right here where there's pretty much no single, then they're able to hit this and go triple and then tiny single out. That's the line everybody's going to take. But if it ends up being more like this, where there's quite a bit of a single right here, then I actually don't know which way they're going to go. This left line could be the faster line. The right line could be the faster line. We'll see. A good option section is if when you take the left line, it takes the exact same amount of time that it does to take the right line. But if one of them ends up being a lot faster than the other, then this is a sucky option section. But again, we'll find out. So you go through here. Super weird section. So yeah, maybe I like it. Okay, and even the arrow showing that they're going to go left to right. So once you get into this section, it's game on, and there's going to be cross jumping like crazy, because everybody on the left side here is going to be trying to get to the right to get to the outside for this next corner. Nobody's going to go into this left side and stay straight. They're all going to be cross jumping over to the people that were on the right side. So this could be dangerous. We'll find out. And then the second, I guess, normal Supercross section on the whole track, with a left-hander going into it, 180-degree left-hander, probably going to be a great passing opportunity, because 180-degree corners are much easier to pass in than 90-degree corners. Okay, then this section, I feel like we should get a look from above, because it's really long. So I think the arrow showed him going double, then maybe triple, double, triple, single. I don't know. Maybe single, double over this, triple, double over this, triple out. I don't know. Looks like there's going to be a lot of different sections going through here that are possible. A lot of different combinations of jumps, which is always good. You never want everybody doing the exact same rhythm, which this could end up being like that. Could end up being pretty cool with a lot of different sections going through here. It kind of looks like they just built it where it's like, I don't know, we're just going to build a bunch of jumps and see what happens. See what these guys end up figuring out. That's kind of how I would build a Supercross track. Just build a bunch of singles and make some taller than others, and these guys will figure it out. They'll figure out what the fastest way to go through it is. That's how I'd build it, 100%. Oh, the arrow's showing a triple, huh? Okay, see? Another combo. Wow, okay then. Triple, 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 double. If they're able to do that, that's going to be super gnarly, actually. Especially tripling out of the corner over onto the big landing and then tripling over that, doubling out. If they can do that, that'll be definitely the fastest way to do it, but that's going to be super gnarly. And then another triple, they're going to have a ton of speed going into it from that rhythm section, so they're going to be scrubbing the crap out of it. And then one last whoop section, which they're saying is maybe sand. Now that I look at it, though, this is a different color than this. So who knows what this is going to be made out of. This, if these are normal whoops, this is also going to be carnage. We saw it last year with a whoop section right after a triple. There's too much speed going into the whoop section. There's way too much speed with nothing to slow them down before going into it. The 250 heats last year, I think they changed the whoop section from practice to the heats or something like that, and dudes were just wadding all over the place. And in my mind, it's because it was right after a triple with having that much speed going into it. Like I said in the other whoop section, for the fast guys, maybe not so much, but for the slower privateer dudes that aren't as good, having a lot of speed going into the whoop section is not ideal. You're going to miss, you're not going to miss, but there's a higher chance of you missing one of these first whoops with your front wheel because you have so much speed going into it. And if you miss your front wheel on one whoop, the chances of it dropping into another whoop becomes very high, and then it's just bad. It's just bad. So having a lot of speed going into the whoop section is not my favorite thing. And then also, like I said earlier, having a whoop section that ends right before a jump is also not my favorite. But there's no way that it's going to be this small of a gap between the whoop and the jump face. So we'll have to see how it ends up being built. If it's out of sand, clay, whatever it is, could be fine, could be completely fine. There could be zero wrecks all day, or there could be carnage, like I'm saying there probably will be with that much speed going in and having a jump right after. Even if you're not crashing going into the whoops, if you're getting a little sketchy, there's just no time to get the bike back underneath you before you hit the jump. And it just, I don't know, it's just not my favorite thing, having a whoop section right before a jump. But we'll see. Double, it's the exact same place that the finish is always at. And that's a lap. This seems like a pretty cool layout. Besides the couple things that I talked about, pretty much the two whoop sections and this thing right here, pretty much the only things I don't like, because again, having a lot of speed going into the whoops and then having to jump right after, and then digging out right before the whoops where they're going to be almost jumping into the whoops, not a good thing either. So 2 whoop sections, not my favorite. This thing is going to end up being jump from the left to the right unless they put tough blocks in the middle. But other than that, seems like a really cool track. Seems like there's plenty of passing opportunities, and it's a pretty cool Daytona track. I'll give it a solid 8 out of 10. I think it's pretty good. 8 out of 10. You did good on this one, Carmichael. We'll see. Hopefully you did good. It seems like it's going to be a fairly fast track, but not like 2010 fast where it's just super dangerous. The fast sections before you go into a jump or something, normally, besides this section right here, there is something to slow you down. 2010 had the most ridiculous section I have ever seen. I am going to look that up real quick. It's this section. So this part's okay. This is all good. They go over this single, and then it's pretty much just wide open up into this jump. So wide open through this left, and oh, God, you stupid. Hold on. Okay, they go over the single. They go through this right, super fast, left, super fast, back right. A bunch of holes going through that section. Did you see all the bumps and holes that they had to wheelie over and stuff? Gnarly. And then right into this. Step on, step off. It doesn't look that gnarly, but it is super fast. And the reason that it was dangerous is because one dude actually did get hurt pretty badly over it. If you don't want to see Grant Langston crash really hard and get knocked out, just go ahead, skip forward, or just don't watch, whatever you want to do. But this was before the red flag. So Langston, he's right here, number 8. He's in 4th, going super fast, and then he jumps, he lands, compresses, endos. Yeah, not good. So it kind of looks like in the replay that it was a combination. He jumped just a tiny bit too far, and he landed in some ruts, and his frame ended up hitting the ground. You can see all of this dirt coming off. His frame hit the ground before being compressed. That's how compressed his suspension was. So much that his frame hit the ground, and then it just launched him forward, made him endo. Super fast section, very dangerous. I don't think that this track will be like that. I hope that this track won't be like that, because that would be no bueno. No bueno. But like I said, I think that this track is a solid 8 out of 10. Lots of passing opportunities, it looks like to me anyways. Only left-handers, which is pretty crazy. I mean, we are at a NASCAR track, so it only makes sense. Only left-handers. But yeah, sorry that there's been a bit of a gap between videos. I actually meant to make this video on Monday. Today is Wednesday. I meant to make this on Monday, but I got a migraine right before I was going to record this video, so that wasn't going to happen. And then yesterday, Tuesday, I was just pretty off after the migraine, and I felt with this bright light above me here that if I would have recorded this, it could have possibly triggered another one. So I didn't want to do that, so I didn't record it yesterday either. I recorded it today, so yeah. Hopefully you guys are cool with that. Sorry there's been a gap. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and there is a crying child outside. I'm excited for Daytona. Hope you guys are too. Hope you enjoyed the video, and yeah. Bye.